It's your boy, the Boxing Lowdown here, man. How's everybody doing this evening? Good to be here. Good to see everybody. Hope everybody is well. Do you know what I mean? And I thought I'd quickly do a live stream. Wasn't planned, but shout out to Ian Hamilton. I'm not sure if he's going to jump on a bit later or not, but he suggested I do one following the news today that Kell Brook and Amir Khan is now finally official after what, 7-8 years of all of this. We're finally getting the fight. So I'm just going to do a quick breakdown on that, give you guys my thoughts. It was looming in the background anyway. I know that some people, it was common knowledge that this fight was going to get announced today, and that is the case. So thought I'd touch on it quickly, get you guys' opinions on it. I want to hear what you guys have to say. And yeah, we'll chop it up there. We'll also talk about the weekend's fight as well, but we won't delve into that too much because we are going to talk about it on the podcast on Thursday. So big up to everybody that joined in the chat. Shout out to my brother Harvey, as usual, in the building. Big up, my bro. Good to have you here, man. Let me know what you think about Khan and Brook. Will you be watching it? Will you be paying for it? Obviously, the fight we found out today that it's going to be on Sky Sports box office. So that would mean, yeah, we're going to have to fork out some money if we're going to watch it legally. Now, yeah, I'll give you guys my thoughts on it. But shout out to Harvey, my brother, always here, and to everybody else that joins the chat. Big up DS as well in the building. My bro Ian Hamilton is here. He said good evening. Good to have you guys here, man. Let's talk some boxing, man. Let's get some real boxing chat here amongst you guys. I want to hear your thoughts on Khan Brook. I was speaking to DS a bit earlier, and he was basically saying to me that he's not paying a penny for this. He thinks that it's past its sell-by date. He thinks that this is pretty much a con for the public now. And, you know, Amir Khan is basically conning the public more to speak. So I want to hear what you guys think about it. And yeah, we'll chop it up, man. So my thoughts on this one is I'm looking at this as, you know, I mean, I know that this is not going to be significant in the boxing world. It's not going to have no effect on the welterweight division. Well, actually, I think they're going to be at 149 pounds now. This fight, I think, is at a catchweight. But you get the gist of what I'm saying. The winner of this fight is not going to go for a world title. The winner of this fight is not going to be, you know, in the rankings or be in contention for a title shot or for a major fight. This is literally just a fight to settle the score. We know it's past its sell-by date. We know that it's lost a lot of significance over the years. They really should have done this back in like 2014, 15, 16 max. After 2016, that's when it really started falling. It really should have happened around then, but we never got to see it. It's a bit of too little, too late, so to speak. But for me, I'd rather say better late than never. I'm not having major expectations into this fight. It's more just to settle the score, really. It's more just to see how this ends up. Who gets the bragging rights out of these two? Because these two have been going back and forth for years online. Years. Since that 2012 meeting in the Sky Studio when they were going at it. These two have been going back and forth for a long time. So it'll be nice to get some closure on it. But yeah, in terms of significance, in terms of what it means, in terms of what it could have meant, it is a bit disappointing that we didn't get to see this back in 2015 or whenever. So yeah, I'm just looking at this as not an exhibition fight because I feel like that might be a bit disrespectful to the two of them, but it's really don't really have that much sort of significance anymore in the game. But I'll still watch it. I'll watch it just because it's the fact that it's those two. I know who they are. I kind of grew up watching those guys, and it closes the chapter. And when I think about some of the fights in British boxing that we never got to see, such as, you know, Carl Froch and Joe Calzaghe, Junior Witter and Ricky Hatton. Do you know what I mean? I'm glad that we're getting this one now. So I don't know. The result might be different now than it would have been a few years ago, which is why a lot of people are not as interested. But I want to hear your thoughts on it. I'll still watch it. And you know what, guys? I'm going to hold my hands up, man. I'll still pay. I'm going to pay for it. I'm actually going to pay for it, man. I'm just letting you guys know now. But it's not because I feel like this fight has much importance. It's more just for my entertainment value. Maybe I want to see what the undercard is looking like as well. And I'll tell you what as well. A lot of the casuals have been messaging me today. People that don't really talk that much boxing to me have been speaking to me today about it. And, you know, it's captured their interest because they know about these two characters. They know who they are. They know that this has been ongoing for a long time. So I think that if boxers are smart, they'll just obviously market it to the casual fan because a lot of the hardcore fans will shit on this fight. They're not really going to be interested in it that much. But the casual fan, I reckon that they'll be able to market to them. Maybe if they had some sort of, you know, a good undercard that people are familiar with. Maybe if they kind of bring in a bit of the celebrity element over here, like maybe have some people like maybe some footballers and those kind of people kind of endorse the fight, I think that it might get that sort of build up. It might get some sort of fan feedback that way. I don't know. Let me hear what you guys think anyway. A lot of comments here. I'm going to go through them all now. So big up to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody that will join later on. But let's read some of these comments now. Conrad has said here, what a performance by Kambosos. Inside and outside of the ring, a new star is born at 135. And you know what, Conrad? Laurie, he'll tell you how he feels on Thursday. But I was really happy for Kambosos, man. I was cheering for him. I was hoping that he'd do it. And I tried to keep it neutral, considering that I have a page and, like I could end up running into one of these guys one day. I do try and keep it neutral, even though I give my opinion on things. I'll never try and come across as disrespectful or anything like that. But I was so happy for Kambosos, man. I really wanted him to do it. I just think that Teofimo Lopez, man, I haven't seen a bigger fall from grace from boxing like that since Hasim Rahman, since he knocked out Lennox Lewis. It felt like everybody was rooting for Kambosos on Saturday night, man. And you have to blame Teofimo Lopez. Since he won that title against Lomachenko, him and his dad have been, pretty unbearable at times. But I was really happy for Kambosos, man. But we'll touch on that for sure a bit later. Harvey has said here, I'll be watching it. I'll be paying for it. The presser got me hyped. I can't lie. The presser got me hyped as well. The presser got me hyped, man. And you know what? It's just boxing, man. That's what it does to us. I mean, fights that are really just should have happened a long time ago. We shouldn't really have that much of an interest in it. All it takes is one press conference and all of a sudden we're in it. And that's how I feel. I feel like I'm in this one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I will watch it and I'll pay for it. Like I admit it. I'll hold my hands up. I'll pay for it. Conrad has said that he'll pay for it as well if the undercard is good. I wonder who they will put on the undercard, man. It will be interesting because it is boxer, isn't it? So I don't know. But let's see. We never know. Ian Hamilton has said here, I'm putting my hands up. I'm hook, line, and sinker after that presser. Everyone is saying their bit now, but trust me, the fight will hook us. So Ian's all in. DS has said here, 5 years ago, I would have sold my yard and my missus for this fight, but now they're just outright taking the piss out of us. So yeah, not everybody agrees. You know what I mean? DS has said here pretty emphatically that he's not really on this fight, man. DS, would you stream it, or are you just not interested in watching it at all? Will you boycott it? Like, what's your thoughts? Francisco says here, break it down, bro. Yes, Francisco, good to have you here, my man. Hope you're well, man. Hope you like that T-shirt as well. Harvey says here, I think it will actually be a good fight. As of now, I'm leaning towards a Khan late stoppage. Wow. That's the thing, like I was favoring Brook strongly if they were to fight back in 2015, 2016. I would have favored Brook. I thought that he would have been able to time Amir Khan and probably take him out. As we get to the fight now in 2022, it's more because both of them are so much past their best. They're well out of their primes, these two. It's quite difficult to pick a winner. Both of them have been inactive. I mean, Kell Brook last fought a year ago. Amir Khan last fought back in 2019. Do you know what I mean? Both of these guys are not really active anymore. So it's really a question of what have they got left? Like, who's got what left? So Khan might be able to do it. Kell's punch resistance did look pretty bad against Terence Crawford. The first real significant shot he got hit with, he was gone. So maybe Khan might be able to do it. But, what has Khan got left? His last fight was in 2019, and I think it was early 2019, and it was against Billy Dibb. Do you know what I mean? So that wasn't really a fight, was it? So, yeah, Khan hasn't really had a proper fight in a long time. So will you confidently pick Khan to win this one? I don't know. It's going to be, it's difficult. Maybe he needed the time out of the ring. Maybe he'll be refreshed. But, yeah, I think it's interesting. It's a lot more even now for me than it would have been back in 2015 or so. DS has said here, Prime versus Prime. I fancy Brook strongly for the win. Now I really don't have a clue. Yeah, literally just said that as well. Like, I don't know. I'm the same as you, DS. I thought back then I would have picked Brook strongly to win this, but now I don't know. And you know what? I think that might be part of the intrigue as well. I think that might be a bit of the intrigue because I don't know who's going to win it. Like, I don't know who's got what left. So, yeah, I don't know. I reckon, DS, you might change your mind a little bit. I don't think you'll be fully hooked on it, but I think you might give it a watch by the time the fight rolls around. I've seen that Sky are giving it the big build up already, man. All the old clips from 2012 when they were in the studio together and it had Audley Harrison breaking them up, and all the Sky are going to give this one the build up, man. And you know what Sky are like with their build ups. So it'll be interesting to see how we feel come February. If we're on a good wave of boxing, if like there's a lot of good boxing on, and, you know, boxing fans, you know, are in a good mood and stuff, then I could see us just tuning into this fight for the sake of it anyway. Ian Hamilton says here, even worse, I'm considering going to it. Do you know what, Ian? I had a message from my cousin, Flex United. He said to me that if he's in Manchester that day, now I don't know I don't know who Man United are playing on that day, but obviously he does his thing for you know, the Man United fan cams and stuff like that. So if he's up there on that day, he's like, oh, let's go to it, man. Let's make a night of it, so whatever. So you never know. I could be up there myself. You know what I mean? But I think I'll watch it at home. But I could get tempted to go out and watch it. I don't know. DS has said here, Laurie's going to come on singing the Aussie national anthem. Trust me, man. If you saw the show last week, you saw what he felt about this fight and how much he was invested in it for Kambosos. And he was blowing off my phone after that fight. He was so happy for Kambosos, the fact that he got the win. He's not a fan of Teofimo Lopez at all, or Teofimo Lopez's dad. So yeah, he was flooding my phone. And yeah, on Thursday, you'll see. I'm just going to let him have the floor, man, because he's going to really want to talk his piece on that. He was over the moon for Kambosos. Let's just say that. Conrad has said here, if it's interesting enough for me to watch, I'll pay for it. DS is not having it. He's saying that he's going to stream it. Francisco, yeah, it'll be interesting to get Francisco's take because he's over there in the States. And he says, I'll watch Khan versus Brook. It should be entertaining, but I was more looking forward to you making a Mythical Monday out of it. In their prime, they were superbly skilled boxers. I could still do a Mythical Monday on that, man. I could do it. If they were to fight in 2015, 2016, who would have won it? You know, yeah, I'll do a video on that. Well, I can probably do it next week for you, man, for sure. Ian Hamilton says here, I have Khan because Kell, for me, still carries the demons of the eye damage Triple G and Spence gave him. Plus, Khan makes the weight easier. Very good points there from Ian Hamilton. That's very true. That eye damage from Triple G was very bad. And then obviously Spence did the same thing. Since then, do you know what I mean? Kell, obviously, he hasn't been the same since that fight. And against Crawford, he was just totally out of there. So Khan is definitely the fresher in terms of punishment taken. But yeah, it's really up in the air. Brook is so up for this fight, man. You get the feeling that if he lost it, he would be really, I don't know, it would really hurt him if he lost it. Khan would be able to move on from it. But Brook, I feel like he feels like he has to win. This is it for him. If you saw him in the press conference today, he was saying stuff like, forget all my fights. This is my only fight. Forget all my fights. This is my first fight. I'm just thinking, bloody hell, man. He really wants a piece of Khan. But I like it. I like the build-up. I thought that Khan won that press conference today, by the way. I thought that he was just cracking me up. He was making me laugh, man. And yeah, he definitely won it in terms of the mind games and getting in his head. But we all knew that Kell would have been rattled anyway. So I don't think it's too much to read from it. But yeah, it was entertaining nevertheless. Harvey says here, it's not a confident prediction by any means. I'm just edging it to him right now. And DS has said here, good point from Ian Hamilton. Yeah, very good point about Kell Brook and that eye. Because that eye damage is we don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, how's he going to react to it? I know that he's got a metal plate in there now, so it's supposed to be, do you know what I mean, sturdy. But both of his eyes were shattered, man, from Brook and from Triple G and Errol Spence. So, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. Khan starts off very fast, starts off very quickly, man. And you never know, he might be able to catch Kell Brook with something on the way in. It's going to be interesting, man. I'm actually looking forward to this. I actually am. Some people are going to laugh at me, but I'm looking forward to it, man, for real. So Amir Khan and Kell Brook will be taking place on February the 19th, 2022. That will be in Manchester. And yeah, let's just see what happens, man. I'm looking forward to that fight. And some of you guys are not too bothered, but I'm sure over the next coming months, you know, yeah, there'll be more build up to it. We'll get more of an idea as to who's on the undercard. And yeah, let's see what happens, man. Let's see how that goes down. But moving on, I want to talk about as well the weekend's action. I'll start off with Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos. Now, of course, I'm going to delve into it a bit more on Thursday, but I thought, let me just give my thoughts on, you know, this particular fight now, give you my opinion on it before Laurie does. And very good performance from Kambosos, man. He was the underdog going in this fight. Nobody was picking him to win, really. They thought he might have a chance, but the majority of people, all of the fight picks that I saw everywhere had Teofimo Lopez winning it. I don't think I saw one person picking Kambosos to win it that wasn't like a fan of his already. So yeah, I was very impressed. I thought that Teofimo Lopez was very disappointing at the same time. I don't want to take anything away from Cambosa's performance, but I thought that Teofimo Lopez was disappointing, man. He was predicting a first round knockout. He went out there loading up on that 1-2, really trying to load up and take Cambosos out as if he had a bet on it or something like that. But then, just crazily, in that same round, he got caught with a right hand counter and it dropped Teofimo Lopez, man. Only the second time I think he's been down in his career, I think. You have to fact check me on that one, but I think it's the second time he's been down. And yeah, it was a flash knockdown. He wasn't really hurt, but it just showed him that, you know, Kambosos is not here to play. Do you know what I mean? You're not just going to be able to steamroll him and get him out of there. And that's what he showed from round one. And Teofimo Lopez didn't really read the room. He was still trying to load up. He was just very disappointing for me. I don't know if he wanted to get Kambosos out of there because he had trouble making the weight and he didn't want it to go late or what, but maybe he was really confident in his power. Maybe he's just become too overconfident since that Lomachenko win and it affected him. Either way, I thought he was quite disappointing, man. I wasn't really impressed with his performance. He did win rounds, obviously, due to his work rate and due to the fact that he did catch Kambosos a few times. Going into the 10th round, I had it even. I had both of them. I had it even. And yeah, it was pretty much after Teofimo Lopez, when he knocked Kambosos down. So, sorry, let me rewind that. Sorry. Going into the 11th round, I had it even because Teofimo Lopez got that knockdown in the 10th. So that kind of evened it up for me, evened it up with the rounds and evened it up in terms of both of them had a knockdown each. And it seemed to me that Teofimo Lopez would have the advantage now. I was looking at the 11th round thinking that Kambosos could be in trouble. He looked a bit tired there. Teofimo Lopez's knockdown definitely wobbled him. I think it affected him more than the knockdown that he suffered. And I thought, yeah, this 11th round, it might be a bit of a hard one for Kambosos. But incredibly, he came out and he dominated that 11th round. Dominated that round and he was very impressive. And I thought, you know what, he might do this. And then he won the 12th as well. So for me, I had it to Kambosos by 2 rounds. I thought that he did enough to win it. You could have argued a draw, maybe, but a win for Teofimo Lopez, no way, not for me. I saw afterwards, obviously, he was saying that, you know, the dad was saying that it was a robbery. He was saying it was a robbery. Not a robbery at all. It was a good fight, very entertaining to watch, one of the better fights of this year. And I think that Kambosos definitely won it, in my opinion, by 2 rounds. I wasn't surprised that it was a split decision because it was in Teofimo Lopez's hometown. But yeah, I'm glad that the right man won. I'm glad that they gave it to the right man. So shout out to Kambosos, man. Definitely deserved that win for me. Let's see what you guys think about it. Conrad has said here, Teofimo's dad is the worst cornerman of all time. Yeah, he was terrible in that corner. Teofimo Lopez's dad. It wasn't instructions at all, what he was giving him. He was just literally just telling him, yeah, you're going to win it, man. You're going to win this, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I don't know. He was terrible. He did seem drunk as well. Conrad says here, it was awful. And it says here, Teofimo Lopez's dad celebrated with Kambosos' dads afterwards, whilst Teo stand there alone, confused. Yeah, I just, you know, we were talking about dads and boxers and their dads a week or so ago with Sean Porter and Kenny Porter. There was a lot of debate there as to, you know, their relationship. But with Teofimo Lopez and his dad, man, it's just, I don't know. Teofimo Lopez has already said that he clashes with his dad quite a bit. I remember before the Lomachenko fight, the build up to that fight, he admitted that they do clash at times. So I don't know. I don't think he's the right man in his corner, but I just don't think that Teofimo Lopez would listen. I don't think he's not going to listen to anything that we say or what anybody else says. So for me, I think it'd be better if he did have somebody else, but I don't think he will. I think he'll probably stay with his dad. His dad is his hype man, by the way. Maybe he's more different behind the scenes. But yeah, on camera and what he was saying in the corner, very poor, very poor. Ian Hamilton says here, just to add to your question, United are away at Leeds that weekend. That will be TV either 12:30 or 5:30 or Super Sunday. You can let Flex know of that. Just saying. Okay, so United are going to be at Leeds that weekend. Yeah, it's not going to be in Manchester then. Yeah, probably not then. I don't know. I'll check in with him and we'll see on that one. That's for Khan and Brook, but we'll see. Yeah, thanks for letting me know about that, Ian. Francisco says here, Tigo's egomania was his undoing, thinking he could walk through him with no tactics. Kambosos is a counterpuncher with good feet and speed. if Teofimo actually had studied Kambosos fights, he might have seen that. Yeah, I think he just went into this fight with a lot of arrogance, man. He beat Lomachenko. He thought after that nobody else could beat him. I just think he overlooked him for sure. Going into this fight, Kambosos had not fought anybody on the level of a Lomachenko. So maybe that was what Teofimo was thinking. And it backfired, man. Backfired horribly for him. And I think he was embarrassed. And after the fight, he was doing his best impressions of Adrian Broner. Do you know what I mean? Saying that he won the fight, saying it was 11 rounds to 2. That embarrassed him as well, because obviously there's only 12 rounds in a fight. So didn't end up well for Teofimo Lopez, man. For me, he lost that fight. I don't know what you guys thought. Let me know your scorecards in the comments. But for me, I had it for Kambosos by 2. That's how I had that fight, man. So let me know what you guys think about it as well. Harvey says here, I had it 115, 111. I saw quite a few people that had it by that much as well. 115, 111. I think one of the judges had it by 115, 111 as well to Kambosos. So, yeah. And I know, Harvey, you were rooting for Teofimo, weren't you? You might have been one of the few people that was actually rooting for him to win that fight. But I had it for, Kambosos by 2. Conrad also had it to Kambosos by 2. Big up to my brother WM in the building. He's put, brother Daryl, how you doing? Teo needs to ditch his dad and his ego. I agree with you 100%. But will he do it, though? Will he do it, WM? I don't think so. I don't think he'll do it, man. I think he'll keep him. But you never know. He might get rid of him. He might ask his dad to just play more of a different role and have a new head trainer in there. I think it would be for his own good. But you know what these guys will say? They'll say to us, what do we know? They'll say we don't know nothing about boxing, blah, blah, blah. So they're not going to listen to what we say. But yeah, I think the majority of us, especially after hearing his instructions in the corner, they're going to say he should get rid of his dad. But it was only the last fight that he had before that against Lomachenko where he won that. And, his dad will say, why didn't you give me the credit for that? So, I guess it's a bit of a double-edged sword there. It's kind of hard to really gauge by it. Should he really get rid of his dad after one fight? The instructions were terrible, though. They were terrible. I have to say that. He says here, his dad is, I know what you mean by that, WM. And he had it 114, 112 as well, WM. Same as me. Nobody in here had it for Teofimo Lopez then. No one. I don't think so. I'll find it hard to give him the win in that fight there. Ian Hampton says here, imagine Josh Taylor in there with Teo. He would have survived the round after that knockdown. Or he wouldn't have survived the round, maybe, I think he means. I was waiting to see what Josh Taylor's reaction would be to that win. And he was pretty classy in his response. He didn't want to kick a man when he was down. I was kind of hoping that we'd get some stick from Josh Taylor, if I'm being honest. But yeah, he played the classy one. So fair play to him. But yeah, how do you guys see that fight? I think that Teofimo Lopez is looking definitely now that he's going to move up in weight to 140. Who's he going to fight up there? Him and Regis Prograis would be a great fight. That would be a very good fight, man. He'll be more replenished up there. I think he'll be a better fighter, Teofimo. There are some fights to be made for him at 140, man, for sure. So let's see what happens, man. I think that he could have some good fights up there. Josh Taylor, I'm guessing that he's looking at Crawford, but the Teofimo Lopez one would be a good shot as well. The Devin Haney fight looks like that's out the window, which is a shame. But yeah, there are still interesting fights for him to be made up at 140. Harvey says here, I wanted Teo to win mainly because I thought there were some good fights out there for him. I'm happy for Kambosos, though. He deserves it. Yeah, absolutely. Totally right there. Conrad has said, this may be a question for the podcast, but I wonder if Teo is one of those fighters who won't ever be the same after their first loss. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. He didn't look good on Saturday for me. He was loading up a lot. He could be a lot better. If I'm being constructive with my criticism, I think that Teo could be a lot better than he showed on Saturday night. I was disappointed in him. I thought that against Lomachenko, he boxed a very good fight, very disciplined fight. He put everything behind the jab. In this fight here, he was just loading up. He was just trying to take Kambosos out of there. So he didn't get a beat down. I know he had a bloodied eye and everything like that, but it wasn't like he was dominated and stopped or anything. He was dropped, but it was a flash knockdown. I think he can still improve from that. He's a young guy. He's obviously got a lot of talent. I think that his personality and some of the other things outside of the ring could do with a little bit of help. But in terms of his talent, there's no denying his ability. Like I said, he wasn't beaten up in this fight here. So I think he could bounce back. He's got enough time on his side, and every fight is going to take a loss. Do you know what I mean? So it's what you do with it. And let's see what Teofimo Lopez does from it, man. It will be interesting. Francisco says that was a good question. He said Teo seems pretty strong physically, mentally. He's not sure. That's a good point. WM says one loss doesn't deter from the fact that he is an excellent fighter who, in my opinion, simply underestimated his opponent. I totally agree with that as well. Diaz has said here, who would you like to see fight Kambosos? And that's the thing. We've been talking about Teofimo Lopez all this time, but what about George Kambosos, man? After this win, I saw everybody call him out. Ryan Garcia, one of them, just coming out of the woodworks, calling him out. This guy, man, the less said about him, the better. Who else called him out? Devin Haney called him out. Shakur Stevenson called him out. Who would I like to see Kambosos fight next? I'd say Devin Haney. If Devin Haney can win this weekend against Jojo Diaz, then I'd like to see him. I'd like to see them two fight each other. Kambosos definitely. I'd like it in Australia as well, if that is allowed over there at the time. You never know with these restrictions and everything else, but it would probably make more sense if it was in America, of course. But I would like to see it in Australia. I'd like to see Devin Haney fight Kambosos there. That way you can get rid of any dispute about who's undisputed and who's not. Do you know what I mean? I think that would be a good fight to make. I'd love that. I'd like to see them two fight next. WM agrees with me. Me and WM are agreeing on a lot of things today. He's put here, Kambosos versus Haney is the fight for all the marbles, Dean. Francisco says here, Kambosos versus any of the other top lightweights would be a great match. I'll tell you what, Kambosos is in the money now. Do you know what I mean? With all of these lightweights begging for him like this, he's got them where he wants them. Do you know what I mean? So it's good to see. I'm glad he's going to get the big paydays, and he deserves it, man. He deserves it. He's a warrior. I like him, and fair play to him, man. He's got all of these guys calling him out, so he can weigh up his options and he can go with what he wants to go with. So he is with Lou DiBella. So it's not like he's tied down to, you know, one of the big deals with DAZN or Top Rank or anything like that. So I'm guessing he'll be able to move freely. DiBella pretty much works with anyone. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he goes from there. Ian Hampton says everyone will call out Kambosos because they think he's easy, but you don't beat Teofimo Lopez by being a soft touch. Absolutely. And he had to come through the fire at times in that fight as well, particularly in the 10th round. It looked like that it could be over for him at that point, but he did brilliantly to survive that and, you know, win the 11th as emphatically as he did. Shows how much heart that this guy's got, man. He's a very likable guy, Kambosos, and I'm glad he won it. So yeah, he, you know, don't underestimate him. Like I said, Shakur Stevenson, he was, you know, he was moaning that people were asking about him moving up to lightweight to fight Lomachenko. But as soon as Kambosos won, he's called him out. So yeah, all of these guys are looking at him like he's food. They think that Kambosos will be a soft touch, but you know, he's already proven against Teofimo Lopez that he isn't. So yeah, write him off at your peril, man. Big up my brother, Big Lou in the building. He's put Loma would get his belts back against Kambosos. I would back Loma to win that as well. But yeah, I mean, are we writing him off? Are we underestimating him? Are we underestimating Kambosos? Loma did look brilliant in his last fight against Nakatani, I have to say. He looked brilliant. And I think he would have beat, if he was in there with Teofimo Lopez that night, he would have battered him, I think. He is fighting against Richard Comey in a couple of weeks. I think that he's going to do a number on Richard Comey as well, if I'm honest. I think that might look similar to the Nakatani fight, to be honest with you. I think that Loma's going to do a number on him. And yeah, I mean, we can't write him off, but will these guys give him the fight? Do you know what I mean? Will they fight Lomachenko, or will he have to put himself in a position where they have to fight him? Let's see. WM has said here, as far as Lopez is concerned, he has already confirmed that he has been weight training for the last 2 years. Any potential opponent needs to be at 140. I love the Prograis fight. I love that fight. I love the fight against Regis Prograis. Both of them are very good characters. Both of them can talk. And that will be a gritty fight, man, between them two. Gritty fight. The winner of that can fight Josh Taylor if he's still at, you know, light welterweight. There are other guys as well, man. Zepeda's up there. Do you know what I mean? We can't write him off. He looked brilliant in his last fight as well. So, yeah, there are good fights to be made for Lopez, but the Prograis one stands out. The Prograis one definitely stands out. I'd like to see that. Diaz has said here, as long as Kambosos stays disciplined and hungry, he'll be a hard night's work for anyone. I totally agree with that as well. Now, quickly before I go, I want to speak about Stephen Fulton and, you know, the Figueroa fight, him and Brandon Figueroa. Now, Stephen Fulton won that by decision, a very good fight, majority decision. That was also, you know, that was also a quality fight, man. Not a lot of people are speaking about it as much as the Teofimo Lopez one and the Kambosos fight, but that was a very entertaining watch. And I predicted going into that fight that Stephen Fulton would win that, and he won it on points. So yeah, I thought that he looked pretty good. It was up for debate. I think that Brandon Figueroa definitely could have got the decision in that as well. It was close to score. Some of the rounds were hard. I thought that Stephen Fulton was more precise, more accurate with some of his shots. I thought that he had some of the more scoring shots, and it was I edged it to him. But I wouldn't have argued too much if anyone had Figueroa winning that. After the fight, Figueroa was pretty upset. He kind of gate crashed the interview as well. He kind of did a Teofimo Lopez and, gate crashed the post-fight interview, saying that he believed he won that fight. I want to know what you guys think. I don't know if you saw it or not, but let me know what you thought about it. It was an entertaining fight for sure. One that I would definitely watch again. And I enjoyed it, but I did have Fulton winning it, edging it on the cards for me. But yeah, if anyone had Brandon Figueroa winning that, I wouldn't have complained too much. But yeah, very good fight that was. Very good fight. And we have a unified champion now. So let's see what happens there. There are fights out there for Fulton Jr. to be made. There's a rematch that could be made. I don't know if that will happen. But yeah, that was a good fight as well. We'll touch on that more on the podcast on Thursday. But yeah, entertaining nights of boxing, man. Entertaining night of boxing. And we've got more to come. We've got a lot of good fights to look forward to, particularly this weekend as well. Really looking forward to it. A great domestic fight over here with Anthony Yarde and Lyndon Arthur. Of course, we've got Devin Haney and Jojo Diaz as well. So the big fights keep on coming, man. And we got next week as the week after that. So yeah, up until Christmas. It's a shame that the Liam Williams and Chris Eubank fight has been postponed. But we still do have Conor Benn and Chris Algieri that night. So yeah, a lot of boxing to look forward to here. Francisco says here, it was tough to score. Fulton edged it. It was tough to analyze. Did Fulton want to beat Figueroa at his own game? Was Fulton's boxing not good enough to keep Figueroa from making it an inside fight? A bit of both. It was tough. It was a tough one to score, man. It was tough. That's why, like, for me, I'm not going to be too pressed on anyone that had Figueroa winning that. The only thing for me was I thought he had a lot of arm punches. He was on the ropes quite a bit. And I just thought that Fulton's shots were more telling. But it was close. It was close, man. And I'd like to see him run it back. It was a great fight. But for some reason, I don't know. I don't think they will run it back. I don't know. We'll see. But it was one of those where it was just tough to score. And then you could kind of just get roped in with just watching the fight as it was entertaining. But yeah, it was a tough one. It was a tough one, man. And going by people's opinions on Twitter and everywhere else, it was a tough one for people to really score as well. So yeah, I had Fulton winning that though. I had him edging that fight, but he could have done a bit better for me. He did get sucked in a little bit to Brandon Figueroa's style of fighting. Maybe he wanted to prove a point by showing that he could do that as well. But, you know, he did edge it on the card. So I would entertain a rematch for sure. But listen, guys, I'm not going to be on here for too long. I just wanted to do a quick, live, just let you guys know what I think about, obviously, Khan and Brook being announced and this weekend's fights. We'll touch more on this on Thursday, of course. But yeah, going back to Brook and Khan before I sign out, I'm happy that this is made. Like I said, I know that it's not going to be a fight that has any significance in the boxing world. It's pretty much done and dusted in that standpoint. But in terms of it just being an entertaining fight for me to watch, a bit of closure, a bit of entertainment with a build-up and so on, that's what I'm invested in. So I'm not really looking at this as, a fight where the winner can go on to do this or do that or whatever. It's not that for me. Both of them should really sign out after this fight here, call it a day, and just we can appreciate both of their careers. But yeah, it's that kind of fight for me. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. We still got another couple of months to go until it does happen. But yeah, Brook and Khan has finally been announced after 7 odd years of waiting. We're finally here. Let's just hope, fingers crossed, let's hope that no injuries or anything like that prevents this fight from happening, man. Let's hope that that's not the case. But big up to everybody, man. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. And thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button. It doesn't cost anything. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And share the video to your peoples, man. Let's get more people involved in the live chat. And shout out to everyone. Have a good evening, man. And I'll catch you all on Thursday for the podcast. I'll see you guys then.